Ladies and gentlemen, the 6-3 Buffalo Bills are reeling after losing back-to-back times in frustrating fashion. Josh Allen hasn't looked like an MVP candidate, which plays right into the hands of a hungry 3-6 Cleveland Browns team. Before I get to the preview, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Now let's start things off with the Buffalo Bills offense. Josh Allen, why, Josh? Why must you continuously throw critical red zone interceptions? It's now been 4 red zone interceptions over his last 3 games, dating back to that Packers game just after the bye week. I mean, it wasn't all bad from the Bills offense, who featured more of the supporting cast in the first half. In the second half, though, Ken Dorsey and the Bills went away from that, and because of that, the Vikings were let back into the game. Devin Singletary started things out well, rushing for 2 touchdowns early, but after a questionably called fumble, he didn't really see the field again. He had 47 yards on 13 carries, whereas Allen had 84 yards on 6 carries. In the receiving game, it felt like the same old for the Bills offense, and in the end, with Stephon Diggs leading the team in reception yards, having 128 yards on 12 catches. Gabe Davis followed up right behind him, having 6 catches for 93 yards, with one of those being a critical and another questionably called catch late in the fourth quarter. Tight end Dawson Knox had 4 catches for 57 yards and disappeared in the second half, and the same went for Isaiah McKenzie. Now, the Bills brought in Nyheim Hines at the trade deadline, but like James Cook, they have yet to utilize him properly. It's kind of crazy that the Bills brought both of these running backs in, but neither have been used at all this season. It's more damning that James Cook hasn't been used, especially since when he gets the ball, he's looked good over the last couple of weeks. This game against the Browns needs to be one where this unit stops the turnover and starts playing a clean, disciplined game like at the beginning of the year. Another unit that needs to play better is the Browns defense. Like many other times this season, Myles Garrett and the Browns get absolutely decimated. They gave up 491 yards of total offense, and Tua was fairly dominant, throwing for 285 yards and having 3 touchdown passes. Unlike many other games against an offense that can both run and pass decently, the Browns haven't been able to respond. They haven't stopped other offenses from becoming one-dimensional, and it's been showing. Their defensive tackles, namely Taven Bryan and Jordan Elliott, have been bad this year, as has Jadeveon Clowney, who has just 1.5 sacks this year. Myles Garrett has been his typical self, though, having 7.5 sacks and once again being the leader of this defense. But if there's any position where the Browns suck at, it's the defensive line, and like the Bills, they get bullied too easily there. In the linebacker core is former Falcon Deion Jones and Sione Takitaki, with the latter getting an increased linebacker role in this defense this year. Cornerback Denzel Ward has suffered a bit this season, giving up 294 yards on just 16 receptions all year long, and he did miss a couple of weeks before the game against Miami with a concussion or something like that. Greg Newsome has also been weak, and together this is a group that Josh Allen can maybe get right against. The Bills' defense has also struggled over the last couple of weeks, with this game against the Vikings being the worst of them all. They gave them nearly 500 yards of total offense and couldn't seem to get off the field, with the clearest example being a potential game-ending 4th and 18, with Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, and the Vikings, of course, converting. It was a brutal game from safety Cam Lewis, who was filling in for the injured Jordan Poyer. He could have knocked the ball down, but his inability to do so, plus a fantastic effort from Jefferson, kept the game alive. Now, the game wasn't all on the defense, as Josh Allen certainly made it his mission to keep the game alive, but they were bad all day long, nonetheless. The Vikings were able to get back into the game thanks to a long Dalvin Cook run who got by, you named him, Cam Lewis on the outside. Cornerback Christian Benford also had a tough day, and it was really tough watching the Bills try to sack Cousins until the end, where the Bills had 3 crucial sacks late in the fourth and in the red zone in overtime. Boogie Basham, Shaq Lawson, Ed Oliver, and Von Miller were each credited with something in the sack total, but it was clear that the Bills' interior defensive line didn't do enough. They will have to bounce back after a tough stretch against the mediocre Cleveland Browns offense. When this unit had the chances to give the Dolphins a sweat, star running back Nick Chubb, of course, had to fumble the ball. Jacoby Brissett has continued to fill in for the massage enthusiast Deshaun Watson, this time throwing 22 for 35 for 212 yards and getting 1 touchdown pass. He also had 40 rushing yards, but it once again resulted in a lopsided loss. His favorite target on the day was Donovan Peoples-Jones, surprisingly enough, as he had 99 yards on 5 catches. He's been starting to heat up over the last couple of weeks after kicking the season off very slowly, and he now has 516 yards total this season. Wide receiver Amari Cooper has also been a big target for Brissett, but last week he was much quieter as he only had 3 catches for 32 yards. He's the leading receiver for the Browns this season, but like the last couple of years, he's a bit inconsistent. Tight end David Njoku is hoping to make a comeback from an injury, but it remains to be seen if he can play this weekend. Overall, this Browns offense will need to play at the best they've played all year long if they want to lead an upset over the Buffalo Bills. So, with all of that out of the way, here is what our BSC panel is predicting for this Week 11 game between the Bills and the Browns.
Allen pocket collapsing, he eludes it. Allen running, lost the football. The ball is free, and it's scooped up by Feliciano. 7 career carries. Allen's going to try to do it himself. Waiting for the official signal. He already has 1 rushing touchdown today, and he's got 2. Touchdown